Hey guys, this is Lala Legacy and welcome back to another episode of SeaBed. So let's jump right back in. It looked like a stairway continuing downward without an end. I want to see it. Oh. I could have sworn I heard Kozue's voice. I'm too tired to go back now. I stepped into the water and was transported to a shining blue world. Oh, this is awesome! After the voices had ceased, I continued down the lone path for a while. Soon enough, I started hearing something in the distance again. It reminded me of a rock falling on something hard, or perhaps a chess piece swiftly being placed on a board. Remember the girl that was with us when we talked to Lily? Yes. Don't you think she's just like you when you were little? Really? In what way? Her unsociable attitude and quick wits? Actually, that part of you hasn't changed at all. When did you become like that? I think I was born this way. Takako had sociability for the both of us. And you were brains for you both. That sounds about right. Suddenly, one of my legs sank into the ground. Oh my gosh. I get that in dreams a lot. Well, not a lot, but sometimes. And whenever I have that in a dream, like where I step into a hole or something like that, or like one of my legs just sinks, my leg physically like jerks down and it wakes me up and it scares me every time. Holy crap. I saw a puddle, black as ink, as I glanced down. Beyond the slope behind me, I saw a sparkling water surface. Above it fluttered the starlit sky. The black puddle by my feet grew bigger, separating from water like oil. The heavy water, like a black mirror, gave a clear reflection of my body. I tried stepping forward, creating a ripple in the blackness, and felt my shoe press against the hard, rocky bottom underneath it. I put my other leg into the blackness. I felt like I had stepped into the deep sea. There was solid ground at my feet, yet I continued sinking. The blackness enveloped me, robbing me of sight. However, the ground evened out, making it easier to walk forward. I strained my ears and heard another sound. It reminded me of the clanging of dishes. It smells great, but I like it when it's more sweet. Why would you want to ruin the taste of something this delicious? This flavor might have been a bit too early for you, Takako. I heard Takako, and the voice of another woman I didn't know. Instant tea is already more than good enough for her. Is that still apple tea? Yeah, Sachiko brings it sometimes. It's a bit too sweet, but it's not bad for the price. And this is the instant green tea, right? Yep. It only has Ceylon written on the label. Ceylon? You mean Sri Lanka? Speaking of tea brands from Sri Lanka, Five Kinds is a good one. Oh, whoa, that's a cool name. Sounds almost like some superhero show. It refers to the 5 leaves: Uva, Candy, Nuwara Elia, Dimbula, and Runa. It sounds like Darjeeling tea. Ranger Red! That's the only color it has, though. Does the background behind you explode when you drink your apple tea? Wouldn't it be a problem if you could buy something that dangerous so easily? We should blackmail them and claim the entire tea shop for ourselves. Yeah. Oh, oops. Whatever. You two are starting to lose me. And it's not even spring yet. The voices grew louder as I continued, then began to fade as though I had just walked past them. When the voices completely ceased, I strained my ears again, but could no longer hear a thing. I tried saying something myself, but it had no effect. I couldn't perceive anything besides the ground at my feet, so I didn't even know how wide this cave was right now. After confirming the condition of the auditory landscape, I started walking again. Something akin to mist appeared in the darkness in front of me. It looked kind of red and blue at the same time. As I followed it with my eyes, a small girl appeared in the corner of my eye and dashed further into the cave. She looked like Takako in her childhood. I didn't actually see her directly. It was just her reflection on the cave wall. I narrowed my eyes while still looking at that huge black mirror when a light suddenly lit up behind me. Its reflection on the wall momentarily rendered me blind. I turned the page. The rays of the evening sun filtered in through the window of the dead silent classroom. The white curtains fluttered as a gust of cold wind swept into the room through the open window, cooling my cheeks. I glanced at the clock. I could hear a plane and the voices of children in the distance. Let's do this. Oh, whoops. Let's do this! I suddenly heard Takako's voice from outside. Well? Wow! It actually got stuck in the trunk! I looked down from the window to see Takako and one of our classmates throwing something at a cherry blossom tree behind the judo hall. What on earth are you two doing there? Our English teacher appeared from within the school building. Oh shit! Everyone around the tree scattered like startled animals. The teacher went after Takako, who seemed to be the most likely ringleader, and caught her by the collar. He then placed her back into the building, or pulled her back into the building, sorry. I glanced at the clock again and returned to my book. After about 50 pages, I heard footsteps in the corridor. Takako entered the classroom with a sigh. Huh? I thought you had already left, Sachiko. I forgot my keys, so I need to wait until my sister gets home. I see. Let's go home together then. She sat down in her seat, which was right in front of mine. Oh, that's right. I wanted you to help me with homework. But we didn't get anything today. I have to write a written apology in English. What did you do this time? Takako took out a small steel plate from her skirt pocket and handed it to me. The rest got confiscated. Is that the shuriken you bought during our last school trip? I used the whetstone in the industrial arts room to sharpen them. Oh, and I wouldn't recommend touching the edges. The edges of the steel glimmered in a sharp silver light. Are you serious? The teachers got angry at me when I tested them on a tree. Of course they did. Are you crazy? I do feel sorry, okay? Takako let out a groan. What exactly happened with the teachers there? They said that trees can start to rot if you damage their bark. That's all? Then they told me to consider how I'd feel if someone threw these things at me. And did you? Takako clutched her stomach and fell to her knees. Are you still planning to keep that up? No. Then you don't need this anymore. I folded my handkerchief around the shuriken and put it in my bag. Huh? Where are you taking it? I'll bring it to the teacher's room. They could do away with it like they did with the rest. Wait! You don't have a use for it anymore, do you? It has sentimental value. I know you won't be able to resist if it's right in front of your eyes. She considered me with imploring eyes for a few moments, then clutched her head and collapsed onto the desk with her upper body. You've no idea how long it took to sharpen them. She let out another groan. You're always having fun. Takako lazily raised her face with her upper body still on the desk. And you're not? Aside from studying, not really. I don't like to be around so many people. Really? Yes. The sound of a bat hitting a ball reached us from the baseball field. The school buildings beyond the window, the cherry blossoms around them, and the scenery of the town in the distance had all been painted orange by the evening sun. All these scenes seem so final! Looking around, I saw brick walls in the darkness. One of them had a hole, through which I could see some greenery. I approached and tried to touch the leaves, but my hand passed through them like they were fog. After that, they immediately vanished. I'm scared. Takako clasped the hem of my skirt with both of her hands. I can't walk like this. I stuck my hands under her armpits and lifted her up. Aww. The determined look on her face. I took a few steps back and lowered myself onto a big rock, ending up with Takako on my lap. We're not walking anymore? We're just taking a short break. Aww. I could feel Takako wiggle on my knees, even though I couldn't see her. The sounds of dripping water reverberated across the tunnel's walls. I heard a gulp. Are you thirsty? Thanks. I reached out toward her and took a thermos bottle lid from her. The liquid inside it was cool, but I couldn't quite tell the taste. Did you have tea in this? It was either water, tea, or juice. I took another sip. If it was water, it should have been tasteless. If it was tea, there should have been a bitter aftertaste. And juice should have a certain sweetness to it. I forgot! I can't tell either. After I finished the contents of the lid, I placed it on Takako's head for her to take it away. Want more? I'm fine. I felt Takako move on my lap again. What's wrong? Let's go! Did you remember the correct way? No, but... Then it's okay. Let's rest for a while longer. Staring into the darkness, I spotted something in the corner of my eye that reminded me of letters. I shifted my gaze to them, but they blurred together and disappeared like water paint. Are you angry? Takako asked. Why do you think that? Well, we got lost because of me. I'm not angry. Really? Don't worry. It shouldn't be that hard to get out of here. But yeah, I'm not angry. But you never think anything you do through. You should keep that in mind next time. I found Takako's face in the darkness and seized her cheeks. Okay. I let her go. I'm hungry. Don't you have snacks in your bag? Oh, right! Takako picked up her backpack. The sound of a zipper followed soon after. Huh? You ran out? No, there were some candies inside. Here you go. Takako handed me a candy. I felt something hard and round being placed into my palm. Takako bit through her own with an audible crunch. I popped the candy into my mouth. It had a sweet artificial aroma, but I couldn't identify exactly which fruit it was supposed to be. Takako continued munching away on her candy. After a while, she stopped moving and I could hear her breathing even out as she dozed off. All of a sudden, I heard approaching footsteps. Turning towards the source of the sound, I saw some dim light in the distance. It grew bigger as the footsteps drew closer, making my eyes hurt. Hey, Narasaki! Through my narrowed eyes, I could make out Narasaki with a lighter in hand. She spotted us and raised her hand. Hey, Narasaki? Took me a while to find you. You were looking for me. Yup. Narasaki's white coat was drenched in water, making her curves stand out more so than usual. What happened to you? You're completely soaked. I had a few adventures on my way here. Narasaki smiled as I stared at the water drops drip from her hair. She placed the lighter on the ground and sat down on a rock in front of me. Were you worried about me? Yeah, I thought you might be in trouble again. You truly are obsessed with your work. It's not like I have anything else to do. Oh, I see Takako's here too. Long time no see. Upon noticing Takako, she quickly waved in her direction. I stared at Narasaki. She returned it with a questioning look. I just thought it was kind of odd to see you together like this. Narasaki made her characteristically faint smile. Time doesn't exist here, so the unusual is actually not so unusual at all. Because we're in a dream? Not exactly. How is this not a dream? Well, it's not like I comprehend everything about this phenomenon either, but there are a few crucial things I noticed that separate it from a dream. I'd say this is simply a place where the present and past cross. What is that supposed to mean? Okay, let me start from explaining how it's different from a dream. Didn't you feel anything unusual on your way to this place? I retraced my steps with the small Takako. I thought it was just another dream at first, but I could remember I was in Nanai's mansion just before, and it feels a bit too realistic. I don't know how to put it. You've got your full wits about you, Narasaki added. Yeah, that's it. It's too realistic for a dream, but I can tell it cannot be real. It's as though there's a translucent membrane separating me from it. I guess it feels a bit like when you hypnotized me. Exactly! My hypnosis partially recreated this exact same state. So this is neither reality nor a dream? Yeah! Well, I guess it still depends on your definition of a dream. Oh? Narasaki inhaled a breath. Okay then, let me explain both this place and your condition. I still had many questions, but I decided not to interrupt her. Narasaki made a small nod, then opened her mouth. For starters, I wouldn't say you're awake right now. Your condition is similar to sleeping or being hypnotized, but it's not entirely like that. As I've mentioned before, your consciousness is fully alert. Now, when you sleep or are hypnotized, your consciousness should grow foggy and become receptive to any information with little scrutiny. However, you keep questioning and analyzing everything around you right now, correct? In a way, you could say you somehow ended up in a dream with your consciousness unaffected. It's not something that happens often though, so I wouldn't bet on it. Anyway, that's the gist of it. Narasaki showed me her hand and spread her fingers apart. Let's say that each of these fingers represent one of the 5 scenes, while the palm is the mind. When you're awake, your hand is open like this. Your fingers are like antennas transferring information to your mind from the outside world. Narasaki closed the gap between her fingers. When you sleep, your antennas are closed like this. You need to fold them up when your brain organizes the information you've received. Next, she made a fist. And this is your current situation. Your senses have changed directions and are pointing inward. They are functioning, they are functioning properly, but aren't directed outside. They are trying to get information from inside your mind. Can I ask something? Yeah? When you talk about the senses, you mean sight, hearing, touch, and so on, right? How can they face inwards? My eyes, ears, skin, and so on only exist in the real world, right? Of course! It's not your actual sense organs that are inverted, but the channels that the information travels through. Just think of it as a metaphor or whatever, she added. Okay, I gave her a hesitant answer. I tried imagining what she meant, but that is all the time that I have for this episode, guys. So, if you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up down below, and if you haven't already subscribed, by subscribing, you're becoming part of a legacy. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video.